I don't think anyone at this point can accuse me of being a United shill. If anything, I've been overly critical. But this review is actually going to be positive. Very positive. To cut to the chase, the GoJet Airlines under United Express CRJ-550 is a fantastic customer experience in all classes, only missing power outlets, and is light years ahead of any other regional jet like the CRJ-200. And you should fly it whenever you can. It's really refreshing to see this shift in direction, for United to start to care about customer comfort and experience, and I for one can't wait for similar care to be rolled out to the rest of the fleet. Okay, I'll try and keep a straight face, I promise to be positive. But this plane doesn't exist to give passengers a good experience, not at all. It's designed to weasel around the scope clause of their pilot union contract. And if that contract ever gets renegotiated, say goodbye to this comfortable interior when they pack in the seats. But until that day, what's it like to fly the CRJ-550? Let's find out on this flight from Chicago to Lexington. Let's start with what the CRJ-550 really is. It's not actually a new plane at all. It's just a CRJ-700. Well. All United did was take their existing CRJ-700 order and slap a different number on them. Why the different model number then? Well, all they did was put 50 seats in instead of 70 and artificially lower the takeoff weight and range. Why? Well, regional pilots get paid less than mainline ones. A lot less, in fact. So regional pilots, in effect, can outsource mainline pilot jobs. Seeing this, limits were placed in the pilot union contract on the number of regional jets of various sizes that United can outsource to United Express. So there's a hard limit on the number of 70-seat jets and 76-seat jets United Express can operate. Any more, and they'd have to be flown by United mainline pilots with higher wages. The horror! And with an order of Embraer 175 SCs, 70 seats, United went over that limit. So what did they do? Convert the 70-seat CRJ-700s on order to a 50-seat version. Why 50 seats? Because there's no limit on those. But you better bet United would love to add more seats if they could, for sure. This also allows them to offer first class and economy plus on regional routes against Delta and American, who have such an offering on their aircraft. As I covered in a prior video, the United CRJ-200 really ain't great. I even had the privilege of flying it back on my return flight. But this leads to more space than United knows what to do with, so they went with gimmicks. A serve-your-own beverage and snack station in first class? Sure, they have the space, and that way a single flight attendant can work the flight if you serve yourself. The 4 large luggage closets? Well, that's because they had the extra space of 20 seats to work with. Not that I'm complaining, gate checking is terrible, but it has nothing to do with you, the passenger. It's all just part of the ploy.
Most ingenious. The old closet ploy. I really must congratulate you. If there's one thing I do enjoy, it's a good closet ploy.
I know I'm very late to the party as the CRJ-550 debuted in 2019. But frankly, it didn't fly anywhere interesting to me. Then COVID hit and suddenly it's 2021. But for $49 in basic economy to Lexington, I said why not. First class on this flight wasn't that bad either, about $100 more. I still didn't think it was worth it. The self-serve bar and snacks? Gone due to COVID. Pre-departure drink? The lone flight attendant doesn't have time for that. Larger seat? Sure, I guess, but the flight's 47 minutes, and I ended up with an empty seat next to me anyway. Plus, I'm not made of money here. Perhaps someday. Now, you may say, hey, Travelog, you aren't seriously going to use this $49 ticket as an opportunity to rant about United's basic economy yet again. Oh, but of course I am. You must be new here. You can always skip if you must. You all know the refrain by now. Basic economy isn't designed to compete with low-cost carriers, none even fly on this route. It's priced the same as the old main cabin fares and actually isn't any lower. It's designed to punish you, to be so unpleasant that you don't pick it and that you instead pay up more above the market price. If you end up paying the basic economy price, United has failed in its goal to get you to pay more.
Do your worst. You may torture me, beat me, whip me, burn the soles of my feet. You will get no
extra money
from me.
My dear General.
Don't hit! Don't hit me! I wear glasses, both eyes.
But I also have the United Explorer card, which defeats almost every restriction of basic economy.
No.
And thus, armed with the sunk cost fallacy, I always book basic economy whenever I fly United. In order to buy up to full economy, United at booking wanted an extra $38 on my round-trip ticket, or a 32.5% premium. I said no. I paid $8 for a window seat on the CRJ-550 flight, how I sacrifice for you, the viewer, but didn't bother on my return flight. United can't give me a middle seat if there is no middle seat. After that point, United started to try and shake me down. Right after booking, I got an email warning me of the risks of basic economy and offering to let me get main cabin for $80, a 64% premium. A few days later, it was $90. Still said no. All in all, a healthy relationship.
Fuck you, asshole. Fuck you, asshole.
I had trouble getting a rideshare to the airport because they keep getting carjacked and there's a pandemic going on, so I ended up taking the Blue Line. As COVID has been declared over by the nation's top medical professionals,
COVID's over, man! COVID's over, baby! Yeah!
travel has really picked up and things are packed. Still, there's only a single United Club open at O'Hare. I burned a day pass I had from the credit card and went in. I haven't ever been to this one by gate B6 and it looked pretty nice, much nicer than the other ones I visited here. While crowded, I was able to snag a seat. My usual comments apply: poor food selection, and there's 2 tiers of alcohol, unlike Alaska where everything's included, but it's fine before a flight as long as you aren't actually paying for a membership. I headed over to my gate in Terminal 2, and of course my gate was the one with no good view, though I did get a view of the inferior CRJ-200s. Boarding was delayed by 3 minutes as the flight attendant needed some additional time to clean the cabin. Boarding was from the back to the front, and look at that, I'm the first one to board. So if you're keeping score, no bag fee, lounge access, and first to board, all on a basic economy ticket. No need to pay any extra.
You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
I was handed a sanitizing wipe as I boarded. The cabin is in a 1-2 layout in first and 2-2 in economy. 10 seats of first class, 20 of economy plus, and 20 of economy. On paper, the economy seats only have 30 inches, but it felt much better than that. The fresh padding was also pretty good and definitely more comfortable than a mainline United flight. The only downside is the width of 17 inches. Less than the 17.3 to 18 inches of United's mainline, but in line with other regional jets. Onboard storage is still tight for sure, but my backpack was able to fit in the overhead, and even after boarding was complete, there was still room in the baggage lockers. There's no in-seat entertainment, of course, as well as no power, and entertainment is through the Wi-Fi and app. It only works above a certain altitude though, and given the length of the flight, that wasn't very long at all. There was a maintenance issue that delayed pushback, but the captain was very proactive and kept us informed. The lone flight attendant was an absolute rock star working the cabin all by herself, and demoing the safety motions both at the front for first class passengers as well as row 7, curiously there's no row 5 or 6, due to a kink in the aisle. As the first class cabin was light and the back was full, 4 people were moved up from the exit rows to first to balance the weight. Especially with reduced business demand, I would expect it's a pretty common occurrence these days. So perhaps if you select exit row seats, you'll get lucky too. We taxied and took off right next to a newly recertified 737 MAX. Flying time was 47 minutes at 29,000 feet, though we were up there for only 4 minutes. We flew diagonally across Indiana, just west of Indianapolis, and turned towards Louisville at sunset. Soon after, we touched down at Lexington Bluegrass Airport. Deplaning was good as well, by row to keep folks spaced out as much as possible. So yes, I felt great about this flight. New plane smell, surprisingly comfortable seats, and a hardworking and friendly flight attendant. And even United was proactive in communication, reminding us to wear masks, offering to rebook as the flight was fairly full, and otherwise being fine. If I were being entirely cynical, I'd say this is a win for GoJet rather than United. You should absolutely fly it over the CRJ-200 if you can. Would I change my travel plans or pay a significant premium in order to do so though? Well, I could have flown it back, but I didn't, just so I could spend more time enjoying what Kentucky had to offer. The flight just wasn't long enough for me for it to be a huge issue. But like the A220 on Delta, if I see a CRJ-550, I will now pick United over another carrier. So I'll be damned! That's what offering a superior product for the same price does, you know. If only United could elicit such a response on the rest of their fleet, they might get back into my good graces. But no. Investing in the customer experience and in-flight entertainment? That's a different blue airline, I'm afraid. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, click that button and please subscribe for many more flight reviews to come. I'll see you on the next one.